We had to have a graduate student as a house father.
Oh, okay. Because you were affiliated with the university.
Yeah. Now he was married, but they just had one room to them. Some of us didn't like dorm life, and we didn't like fraternities and sororities. And so I think we were kind of an independent thinking group, which I think is typical of the co-op movements historically. And, you know, we had the editor of the Daily Cardinal, Dick Leonard, who for years then became editor of the Milwaukee Journal Daily. We had whoever was editing the yearbook. We had the president of several organizations on campus. No athletes, as I recall.
There were always conflicts about the work details. Who was not doing his share, and how they would be assigned, and the chairman of the work assignments was you know, had a lot of stuff on his hands.
We learned to relate to each other. You know, there were differences, philosophic, political, nationalistic, with incredible discussions about it. And I think it also helped define argument as having nothing to do with violence or anger. It's as though they were light years ahead of their time. Of some of the qualities of beginning to know better how to relate to each other were surfacing back then. You know, we'd have some round table. Not round, you know, round, everybody there would be on a chair around this bigger room. And each person got to talk and nobody could interrupt, kind of thing, which now I identify with the 70s. You know? And so in many ways, we were way ahead of the campus, I think.
Around 1939, a new Rochdale eating co-op, the Green Lantern, was begun. The details of its origin are cloudy, but it was thought to be similar to Circle Pines and was located on West Johnson Street initially. It was to become the hangout for the more radical wing of the co-op movement, and over the next 48 years would feed and entertain tens of thousands of co-opers.
Rose was the residence, and below in the same building was Green Lantern Eating Co-op, and they had about 84 members.
In the summertime, Anderson House did not serve meals. One could live there, but we did not have food service there. And one summer when I was at summer school, I joined the Green Lantern Eating Co-op, which was down a couple blocks on Johnson Street.
Green Lantern was special in that it was always a place of great political debate and ferment. If you wanted to know what was going on in Madison activism, Green Lantern was a place to be. It was like a school, drawing in innocent students and radicalizing them.
I remember getting to meet some people there that otherwise I never would have had a chance to meet, and probably more politically aligned. However you want to go, probably left. Way left, some of them were way left.
Green Lantern also provided a community. Movies were shown to entertain or educate members. Poetry and skits, usually about the eating co-op itself, were mainstays of the entertainment. Like other eating co-ops, members volunteered in the kitchen or on different organizational committees.
I was low on the totem pole, and I did whatever they told me to do. So the difference from Green Lantern was that the students prepared their own food. And I'm sure we had somebody who did the buying, probably another student. And the meal plan was pretty much set. But if you ate there, you came in and you chopped the vegetables and you did whatever there was to do And then you cleaned up the kitchens.
It could be anything. It could be, scrape and stack dishes. It could be, I can't even remember all the jobs, but the job I had the last semester I was there was collecting money for people who came just to eat lunch. They weren't members, but they could eat lunch at a little higher price. And just working in the kitchen with someone. It'd be my friend. I did the cooking for a period of time, and I just we'd hang out in the kitchen and talk to him because he knew a lot more than we did, Or we'd be making our salads. I remember carrot and raisin was one of the favorites. Iron salad.
The Rochdale Co-op movement in Madison was in full swing at this time. An inter-co-op council had been set up in the late 30s to promote cooperation among the eating and housing co-ops. They set up a cooperative purchasing group, organized parties and other entertainment, and published a newsletter. In September 1942, Rochdale Men's Co-op began an association called the Student Housing Cooperative when it expanded to a second house in the Langdon area. This new house was named Groves Men's Co-op after Harold Groves and was similar to Rochdale in structure. (1942) was to be the peak of this wave of the co-op movement in Madison. But while students were building a new alternative economy and working for an alternative socio-political system around the campus, Hitler was on the march in Europe and the Japanese in Asia. In response, the U.S. intensified its role in World War II. Between 1942 and 43, nearly every male UW student was drafted, and the men's co-ops on campus were empty. The women were anything but slow in taking up where the men left off, though. As far as racism on the campus, minority women had to face the same problems as men. In the fall of 1942, a group of women had gotten together with the intention of starting their own Rochdale co-op, but were unable to find a suitable house. By December of 1942, Groves Men's Co-op had been entirely vacated after a short life of one semester.
When the boys went off to war, they left the furniture to some of their girlfriends with the understanding that it would be used for cooperative purposes.
This was the perfect opportunity for the group of women to have their co-op house.
Two young ladies, one of whom was Virginia Wicks and the other Elise Hunt, came to see me about starting a women's housing cooperative.
Wicks summed up the goal of the new Groves Co-op when she said,
"The house is open to any girl on the campus. We are particularly anxious to relieve the housing situation by removing the bars of discrimination. We can't win the war unless we win it on the home front as well as the fighting front."
They say that house mothers should not be allowed to turn away Jews and Negroes if they want to live there and ask questions about this sort of thing. Now they said, we will take a positive tack and we will make a demonstration that a house can be run and that this will be a showpiece in the university for interracial living. This was major at the time.